Hi, my name is Ivy Starnes and I'm a gaited horse trainer in Fort Worth, Texas. Today we're talking about what gaited horses should and shouldn't look like, and more specifically, what should their neck be doing, how should they use their back, why is this important, and why do we have so many pictures and decals and stickers that show the gaited horse in an inverted hollow back position, and why is this bad? Really, why is this the standard for so many gaited horses? So many people tell me that this is what they were told to do. This is what we see in the show ring. This is what we see in the breed demos. This is what we see on every single Tennessee walking horse and Rocky Mountain decal that are out there. That's why it's such a problem. And I want to show you guys not only what's wrong, but also what is more correct for gaited horses to do. Now, to clarify, I'm not talking about the show ring. This is not going to be tips on how to win in the show ring. It is about biomechanics of how any horse should move, with subtle differences between breeds. I'm not talking about specifically how they should be moving to win in the show ring, but how they should move so that they are sound longer and their backs survive as well. If you have any questions, please comment below. This video is, I'm hoping, going to change how a lot of people look at gaited horses. So the very best thing you could do for me is to please share this video with any of your friends and any gaited groups that you're on so that we can help people understand the right way to have gaited horses move and carry themselves. Hi, Pamela from West Tennessee. Okay, so let's start out. This, if you do a Google search of popular gaited horse silhouettes, this is what comes up. This picture. Now, on the surface, you go, well, those are some nice gaited horses. You see one with a rider with the reins loose, but what you see with all of them is that their heads are up and they're pushing down the base of the neck. You may say, what do you mean pushing down the base of the neck? Well, we're going to get to that in a little bit, but just bear with me here. This is popular gaited horse silhouette. If you go look for a decal to put on your truck or your trailer, gaited horses, this is what comes up. And in my opinion, this is very bad. This is not what we want at all. Okay, let's just do a few more. I'm going to quickly go through some of the bad stuff. We're going to get to the good stuff, and then we're going to get to why it's so important that they don't put their heads up like this. So this is a slideshow here of silhouettes. You can see up close. You can see that the neck is being pushed down, the head is way up. Same thing, head is way up in the air here. Now the reins are loose, but the head is also very high again. Again, it's not a high stepping gait, but they show it with the horse's head up high. Same thing again here, Pasifino, they really show the U-neck and pushing the base of the neck down. Same thing as well. This might be saddlebreds, but again, that head is up so high. Same thing again here. And then back to the beginning. Again, I'm saying that these are all wrong and incorrect, and they're setting everybody up for the wrong image of what a gaited horse is. Now, this is a photo slideshow. These are photos just from Google searches for various gaited horses, Tennessee Walkers, Missouri Foxtrotters, Rockies, Pasafinos, and then some other breeds as well. And these are, the riders are blacked out. I don't know who any of them are. It was just a Google search, and these are all incorrect in my opinion. Notice that head is up high, not as high as others, but pushing down the base of the neck. They're also hollowing the back. That's a very high head, probably a saddlebred or a Morgan. This is probably a Rocky or a Tennessee Walker. Really high head, very much pushing down the base of the neck. Same thing here as well. And you can see this horse just won the blue ribbon and his head is so way up in the air. This is a Rocky Mountain. Look at how high that head is. That is so not good for the horse. And again, we're going to get to why coming up shortly. And this was Pasifino, also pushing down the base of the neck. And another gaited horse in the show ring. Head not as high, but definitely high, and the reins tight. And again, same thing, another Rocky pushing down the base of the neck. And another gaited horse here, doing the same thing. And then another horse with a blue ribbon with the head really up in the air. Not good. Same thing, Pasifino pushing down the base of the neck, head way up high. And go back to the beginning. So again, I am saying that these are all incorrect ways to have horses be ridden. That it's putting them in a posture that's incorrect, and it's perpetuating this idea that all the gaited horses need to be ridden like this on the trail. And I'm saying that that is not true at all. Hi, Lynn from Middle Tennessee, and Kylie from New Jersey, and Jane, see her, she's saying hi, we'll see her in March in Virginia. Kylie said, my first horse, Missouri Foxtrotter, and Regina says hi from Ontario. Great, thanks for joining us. Again, I'm saying that these are the wrong way for people to ride gaited horses, and I'm going to be showing you the correct way and why it's so important physically for the horses to be ridden differently. All right, so these are some pictures of me riding gaited horses here as well. And what we're going to see here, this is a Rocky Mountain, and you're going to see how she's lifting the base of her neck. And we're going to look at these photos. We're going to talk about what lifting the base of the neck means, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you these photos again. Here's that same horse lifting the base of the neck in a beautiful gait. Here's another horse lifting the base of the neck. Now, you notice the head isn't down like a quarter horse. Sometimes we train them to drop their head that low to get them out of the pace, but we never ask them to stay there. This is a lovely headset for a gaited horse to have here. Even in the show ring, this is fine if your horse is gaiting well. Here's another shot, different horse, really nice lifting the base of the neck, nice level headset. Now, this horse's head is lower than we want to see ultimately, but we're going to come back to this picture. You can see how he's telescoping his neck or stretching his head down and forward, not the nose in. That's what we are looking for. Now, not ultimately for him to stay like this. We want him to be looking more like this when we're done, but we start out by getting an image that looks like this so that we can get to this and even more so. Another one here, slightly higher headset, but still lifting the base of the neck, lifting the shoulders, lifting the withers in the back. And then again, this next slideshow here, right here, this horse's head is pretty level, but she's still actually pushing down the base of the neck just slightly, which is why some horses need to really have their heads down and their noses forward to get a really, really lifting the base of the neck at the beginning. And as they get stronger, they can bring that head up. Bear with me, we're going to get to talking about that more. Here's another shot, lifting the base of the neck a little bit. Here's another one. The head is, a little above neutral, starting to lift the base of the neck. Same thing here. And again here. All right, so we're going to, in just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and play a video, and it's 10 minutes long, and I'm just going to let it play. It's going to talk about lifting the base of the neck and show you by example with some drawings and pointing exactly what I'm talking about so you can really get an idea of what it looks like when horses lift the base of the neck and why it's important. And then we're going to go back and look at these pictures again, but I wanted you to see that. Again, my whole point is that riding gaited horses like this is incorrect. That we need to be able to have them have their heads out, their noses out slightly or vertical, and we're going to talk about that. Now, this video is 10 minutes long. It is half of the complete video. The complete video is on my private training group, which you can join for $99, and you're in for life. One-time fee. You don't have to join. Enjoy this video. It's going to give you a clue, but that private training group has lots more videos as well. Please watch through this. Answer any questions really quickly, and then we'll get to that video. Christy says, I love what you're saying. I've been thinking this forever, and it's great to hear someone point it out. And hi from British Columbia. Hi, Christy. We're doing a clinic in Alberta. I don't think we're going to get to British Columbia this year, maybe next year. Marie says, hi from Yorkshire, UK. My silhouette is from my old stallion in the field, not under saddle. Beth says, hi from California. Thanks so much for the videos. You're welcome, Beth. Mary says hi from Texas. Trish says hi from New York. She has a Tennessee walking horse that she trail rides. Excellent. Sandra says, I'm Michigan, and I love that you're doing this because I see so many riders paying no attention to bringing the head down, and it seems to be the key to get a lovely gait. I absolutely agree, Sandra. When Michelle says, my Tennessee walking horse holds her head pretty high all on her own. Is this something I can train out of her? Briefly, you absolutely can train it out of her, and you should, because it's bad for the back. And let me show you this first video. Feel free to keep asking questions. I'm just going to let the video go, and I'm going to have the audio playing there, and then I'll come back and answer questions in about 10 minutes. Again, please share this video because we're going to try to educate as many people as possible on what gaited horses should look like. So take a look at this video, and then we're going to go back and look at the videos of what they shouldn't look like and what they should look like. So here you go. Lifting the base of the neck. What is it And why is it important? In this video, I want to show you what to look for when horses are lifting the base of the neck, and this applies to all horses and all breeds, not just gaited horses. This horse I'm going to be using as an example. He's an Arabian saddlebred cross. Now he doesn't gait, but I was able to use him as a really good example and to work on head down and softness with this horse at a clinic. And so the video footage you're going to see is of him through the progression, because he started out very high-headed, tossing his head, and we're able to change in just 3 1-hour sessions to having him lift the base of his neck and move in a slower, more round body position. So I'm going to show you what to look for, and then we're going to play the video so you can see. So there's a few things we're going to look for. One, we're going to look for a nice arch of the neck here. And it's an arch that should be lifting, okay? And you can see this muscle is elongated here. You get those nice shadows. That's a good thing to see that. Also, the other thing to look for is the nose being vertical or in front of the vertical. So out, we don't want it pushed the other direction. We don't want it pushed behind the vertical. Another thing to be watching for throughout the video, and I'll be occasionally pointing it out, is the length of the top line compared to the underside of the neck. So the fact that this is long and that this line right here is shorter, like that. That's all a good thing and things we want to be looking for. So when we want the neck to be long, we're talking about it being the neck telescoping. So that the idea that the top here is pushed forward, not pulled tight, so that basically the ears are moving forward and that whole top of the neck is looking longer, not shorter. The other thing we're going to be looking for is right here, okay? Is we want this to be lifted and not pushed down. And you'll see that the higher his head is, the more of a dip you'll get behind the saddle, that it will be dipped down, sort of. It'll be like a shape more like this. But then as he starts to put his head down and lift his back, this will start to fill in and be lifted. And those are things that you can start to see. Okay, we're going to go ahead and play the video and point out some of the different things here. Here we have him with the nose forward and the base of the neck lifted up, and you can see a nice rhythmic stride. And again, notice those lines there, as this has got this hollow groove right here. That's exactly what we want to see. And we see that moving forward. We don't have any pressure on the bit. The reins are not making him keep his head down. We asked him, again, this is I think on day 3, so after 3 1-hour lessons, this is the progress that he's making with keeping his head down on that loose rein and moving forward kind of rhythmically and elastically. This is what it looked like on day 1. This was the original bit he was being ridden in, which was a single jointed O-ring snaffle. And you could see him lift the base of his neck at times, but a lot of times what you tended to see, like there's a little almost lifting the base of the neck, but what we tended to see was this bulging muscle the other way. And he wanted, like he'd been taught to be soft, but he tended to actually put his head up. And he's chewing on the bit a lot, and he wasn't very soft. So as soon as you put any pressure on, his head would go sky high. And again, he didn't want to, so here we go. We're going to look at this piece here. So what we see here is the neck the other way, where it's pushed down, okay? And if you look, see how there is a line here, but the neck is getting shorter, not longer, and so that is not at all what we want. So right there, you can really see that that muscle is bulging down. There's no groove. Again, it's pointing down. Now this is fairly short and this is longer. So we want the bottom to right here, this to get shorter and the top line to get longer. And what we're seeing with his head up like that is that's not the case at all. His nose is in front vertical, but it's because I have a little bit of pressure on the reins and he's not happy with it. And we want a horse to be okay with accepting that pressure. And look at that. Obviously that's not normal, but that's so bad. He's just so what we'd call inverted. His back is hollow, pushed down here. And he just very clearly is like, nope, you just watch that muscle underside of his neck. When that muscle is getting bigger here, that's not good. We want to see that muscle getting smaller and have a nice groove, and the muscle on the upper part of his neck be what's getting bigger and longer. So this is not good. And I'm not jerking on it, and he just had to learn. We had to put a different bit in his mouth and to teach him. Okay, so this is, again, we're back to day 3. You can just at rest look at this beautiful, nice line here. And this muscle is not bulging. And again, here's this part of the neck is a little bit shorter. And then look how long this part of the neck is right there. Beautiful there. And you can see this whole muscle here is, filling in and looking longer. That's awesome. And that's what we want to see. That's all progress. And then if we play it forward a little bit, again, he's not moving, but you'll see that the nose is in front of the vertical here. And just as an example, so vertical would be perpendicular to the ground, something like that. And his nose is here, which is totally fine. We'd rather have that than behind the vertical, which would be anywhere in here. And that's not what we want. And you're going to see a few examples where he goes behind the vertical, and we have to try to get him to not do that. So that's just what it looks like. And so right there, he lifted his head up a little, and so we lost a little bit of those nice lines. So here's the bottom of the neck, here's the top, got a little bit shorter because he didn't telescope his neck as much. And we still have a little bit of a groove here, but this muscle is starting to bulge right here as he's lifting the base, or after he's lifting his head and pushing down at the base of the neck. And so he's not lifting right here. But of course, the goal is to get that to change, and that takes time. That's not going to happen immediately overnight. And he's still learning. So right there, even then, so you can see as he's in motion, his neck changes shape. So right here, it's pushed down a little bit, not up. All right. And you can start to see that instead of being nice and long, this is a little bit shorter, which is not what we would like to see. But it's all changing as he goes. So the other thing I'm going to talk about is like right there, he basically put his head behind the vertical. And so again, here, it's not that good. So here's the neck, here's the underside of the neck here. There's our line, crazy line. And this is the top. And so this part here, the underside is getting longer, which is not what we want at all, but that's just where we're at here. And so he's also kind of bulging this muscle again here because he's not lifting the base of the neck. So there you go, guys. That is what lifting the base of the neck is about, lifting the root of the neck and some of the things to watch for. So jump in if you have any questions. Briefly, I'll go back. Ginger says she's very new to Tennessee walking horses, her first one. She's not sure what to do. Please, I have a ton of free videos. Just watch the free videos. Take a look. Kylie says I'd ever do clinics in New Jersey. And I've never done one in New Jersey. We're doing one in New Hampshire, which I know is not that close to New Jersey, but it's on the East Coast. But I am actually pretty much booked for 2021. We're going to be doing 8 to 10 clinics, and that's it for the next year. And I'll be booking for 2022 and willing to pretty much travel anywhere. Pamela says, please explain again the benefits of the nose being in front of the vertical. Great question. I'm not going to be able to show you in video, but I'll try to explain it, Pamela. So when a horse's nose is behind the vertical, they've closed their throat latch, which blocks some of the airflow. And it means that they're braking. Now, instead of braking at the pole, which is right at the ears, they're now braking at back there like the third and fourth vertebra, which is incorrect. And it activates the wrong muscles and adds a lot of tension as well. So once again, most helpful thing you can do, share this video, please, so that more people learn how gaited horses should look. Secondly, stay tuned just a sec. We're going to go ahead and go through those photos again and see the problem and how the horses are pushing down the base of the neck. Okay, so here we go. Here's the silhouettes. If you Google popular gaited horse silhouettes, and images, this is what comes up. And if you start looking, they're all pushing down the base of the neck and have their head really high. We're going to go through the slideshow again. Here we go. You can see that that head is really high, and they're pushing down the base of the neck, many of them. And they're all high-headed. That especially shows that bulging lower neck. And same thing here, you see even the reins being pulled tight, the horse's nose in. Now, some of these horses have their nose in front of the vertical, which is actually really good. But if you actually watch how people ride gaited horses, a lot of times their noses are behind the vertical. And here's again the slideshow of actual gaited horses. And these are just Googled. And the nose are in front of the vertical, but they're pushing down the base of the neck. And you can see they're winning and pushing down the base of the neck like that. And that's not good. You can see if you look based on what we just talked about in the video, notice how long the underside of the neck is on this horse and compared to how short the top line is. And he's in front of the vertical, but it's totally the wrong picture. He's hollowing his back. Even if it's a good gait, it's not something you want to keep because it's hard on the horses long term. Someone asked if you can train the horse to drop their head even if they do it naturally. Absolutely. And you want to, because it's better for the horse's long-term health and just better for them carrying a rider seriously. Here's another one, pushing down the base of the neck. Same thing. Again, this horse in particular, look at how long the underside of the neck is and how short the top line is compared to the horse in the videos. Same thing. That bulging lower neck. Again, these horses' noses are in front of the vertical, which is good, but they have such a short top line. They're not collected and lifting their withers. They just have their head up high. So again, it's super important that we actually think about what this is doing to the horse and not just about what they want in the show ring or what we see in pictures. Jonah says, or Jana, I'm not sure how to say that, sorry. Love the graphic analysis, very helpful, thank you. And again, you can watch the second half, the full video, if you want, on my private training group. Lorianne says, can't wait to see you in March in Virginia. Yep, that clinic is full already, by the way, but plenty of room for auditors. Christy says, if your horse tends to come behind the vertical, how do you ask them to change it? Well, probably you need to change the bit you're using and take a look at how much you're pulling. You need to teach them to telescope down and out by asking for softness and big releases. Janet says, thanks from Southwest Wisconsin. You're welcome. Rhea says, I worked on head down for a long time. Now when I ask for her to gait, she drops to almost to the ground and keeps it low when she gaits. Is that what she's supposed to do? If she does that, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would usually train them to put it nice and level. A lot of times you do that by adding a little bit of speed, and when the head comes up, go ahead and stop and praise. So very simple. Chrissy says, the bigger moving horses have a tendency to be more inverted U-necked. Yes, but they train them by pulling their head up. Just like dressage horses, you start with long and low and asking for a telescope neck, asking for that stretching out and down. As they get stronger, they can lift their neck up and correctly hold their shoulders. Gaited horses can do the same thing. They just don't take the time to teach them to be strong. They go straight for head up right away. Bigger moving doesn't mean they have to hollow their neck. It just means you have to take time to develop the strength. Amy says, do I recommend using a dressage saddle versus an all-purpose for a gaited horse? Not necessarily. I ride in a dressage saddle. Definitely, if you have a Western saddle, you need to try to make sure that it fits. A lot of gaited horses have a shorter back, and you need to make sure that your saddle is not too long for them. This is not a saddle fitting video, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. Let's go back and look at some more horses. So this is the more correct way for horses to move. Now look at those lines differently. Now that you know what you're looking for in the neck, see how she's using her shoulders to pick up her head. It's a little bit higher than some of the other horses, but she still has that really nice lift and using the correct muscles. Her nose is also in front of the vertical. Again, this horse as well is lifting the base of the neck, has a little more level headset, and the nose is out. Again, same thing, a little bit more level, but really nice muscling being used here. Again, this is an example of what telescoping the neck looks like on a horse. This is where I start, but I don't want to end here. My goal is not to have a horse that rides around looking like this, but to take a horse, get that first so that you can get this and have the correct muscles. And again, here, this horse is pushing down just slightly. This horse is probably a little bit trotty, which is why the head is up a little bit, but I don't want it to stay up either. And for the second set of horses here, We want the horse to lift the base of the neck. And again here. And some horses need their head lower to lift the base of the neck, and some are higher, also based on conformation and how strong the horse's muscles are. Peggy says, hello from Michigan. I was going to ask the same thing as when her horse holds the head all the time. Don't know if it takes twice as long to get it out of her. Not quite sure exactly what you mean by that, so you might have to rephrase the question. Kylie says, how do you get them to telescope their necks? Well, Kylie, good news. You can check the link in the description. I have free videos on how to train it. If you need more videos, go ahead and check out my private training group. The link is in the description on this video, and you can watch it there. It costs $99 to join, and you're in for life. Again, you also get the full telescoping the neck video and lots of videos on how to train the head down. Continue with any questions. I'm going to keep talking a little bit longer. Let me know if you want to go back and take a look at any of the pictures. Again, you can go back and watch this video once it ends. And so if you need to watch that video again on lifting the base of the neck, it'll be available for you. Please, the biggest thing you can do is to share this video. I know I've said this like 4 or 5 times, but the more people that see this and learn that there's a different way for gaited horses to look, the better we're going to have. Now, again, I'm not talking about the show ring. I don't show at all, and I'd still encourage people to train the horses to lift the base of the neck in the show ring as well. Otherwise, ask for a lower head carriage at the beginning. And as they get stronger, you can go ahead and ask them to lift their head and neck up. But the goal here is to understand why it's so bad for horses to look like all of these horses do, and why we don't want them looking like this as a general rule. If you get advanced enough and you're doing dressage, your horses can look like this, but better. But if you just think that this is the way they should look with the reins pulled tight and their head up, that is not good for them. They're hollowing their back, they're using the wrong muscles, and they will never build a good top line if you're familiar with the idea of building a good top line. You don't want to do this. Building a good top line comes from teaching the horse to lift the base of the neck, stretch down, and you can add lateral movement, you can add backing up. There's so many really good exercises out there to build this, but I want you to see the correct way versus the wrong way. It is just so important for people to get this in the gaited world, but it applies to quarter horses, it applies to Arabians. And again, I'm not making the claim that this will win in the show ring. I'm making a claim that this will help your horse stay stronger longer and be able to hold the gait. And the head down and softening and bringing the nose in and then releasing into the telescoping the neck is how we get the best gaits on a loose rein, and how you get your horse to stay relaxed and not really forward and not jumpy, and stay calm when you're riding on the trail. It's super, super important. Thank you guys for watching. We had a lot of people. Right now there's 90 people watching. Thank you so much for joining. Please share this video. Please join the private training group if you would like. All of these things are going to help more people see this. You can just continue watching these free videos though. If you don't want to join now, that's okay. Keep watching the free videos. Take a look at past live videos. There are dozens and dozens now. And again, check back tomorrow. We're talking about how to use cavalettis and ground poles to get gait from horses. And I'll also include links on what to do when the ground poles aren't working, or what to do if your horse is trotty. So guys, please share this video. Thank you for watching. Go and work on this. Start looking at horses. Go back and watch the video on what it looks like when they're lifting the base of the neck, and start looking at horses in the pasture, other people riding, and the show ring. Start to see the difference. When I learned this, lifting the base of the neck, lifting the root of the neck, it changed my world. I started seeing horses in a different light and looking at how I trained differently, knowing the picture that I was looking for. I was looking for them to be lifting the base of the neck, really helped me change how I was riding and how I explained everything. Thanks, guys. Keep in mind, we've got some clinics coming up. I'll just briefly go through those. We have 3 clinics. Well, we have a clinic in Idaho, Virginia, and New Hampshire, and those ones are all full right now, but you can come audit. So be sure to check those out. Then ones that have openings, we still have room for the Dallas clinic, though it's filling up quickly. Birmingham, Alabama, I believe is just about full. Midland, Ohio in May will fill up very quickly. We have one in Minnesota. More information on that coming soon. That's in May. Alberta, Canada in June. New Hampshire is full, and then we have one in Idaho, which just filled up, but you can come audit any of the ones that are full. So please join us for that. I'm just about booked for 2021, but I'll be booking for 2022 soon. Leslie says my mare is good about her lowering the headset in a small group. As soon as I go with some people, go faster, I lose her headset. That's because you have to practice the lower head at faster speeds when you're not with a bunch of people. Great question. Okay, Jennifer says, see you in Birmingham. See you there, Jennifer. I'm excited. Our first clinic is the one in Virginia. And check back tomorrow for the video on how to use ground poles, cavaletti, to get gait with your pacey horses. Thanks so much for watching, guys. You got this. Have a safe ride.